Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, and therefore you're very welcome to Second Comber's Thought for the Week. I think you'll agree it is so easy to become despondent these days. All you have to do is listen to the evening news each night and sense a pressing heaviness, and it is worldwide. Stories of wars, natural disasters, economic woes, and what seems to be a downward spiral of moral disintegration. And even within our own lives, few of us escape those seasons when trials and tribulations of life in this fallen world become so raw and so personal. So how do we cope? Where do we find comfort? And of course, there are countless places in the Bible that will comfort Christians in their trials, or indeed encourage us as to obedience. And whilst these passages might not automatically speak into our immediate situations, we can with hope broaden our perspectives to a more eternal one. There's a word, eschatology. It's a name given to the study of end times or end things, those reflections and passages, all that often difficult to understand stuff towards the end of the Bible. Yet eschatology in many ways can never be seen as, well, a standalone topic, for it is always connected by a common and central thread from the beginning of time until the final gathering in. Yet knowing our eschatology can in itself become extremely comforting. And so this morning, let's go back to the start. Let's go back to Eden as we give particular attention to the woman we know as Eve. For Eve's story is a weighty story due to the afflictions she would bear, but also one that illustrates the gracious means by which God would comfort her. Eve's story is one of the most broken stories in the Bible. She comes into the world in innocence. She is lovely and lovable. She is formed to bless and partake in her union and in partnership with Adam, the man from whose side she was taken. Yet in that fateful moment of temptation, she is left physically and spiritually unprotected in that garden by her husband, and who then blames her for all their faults and woes as things start to go awry. She experiences the most violent rupture of human history, the fall. Having once basked in the light of innocence, she now withdraws into the darkness of sin and shame and loneliness. Eve is the beginning of a long line of broken-hearted women. Yet in the midst of this, God promises a climactic redemption. He promises that she will bear children, and that from her will come a son who will consummately destroy that dreaded deceptive serpent. And we can read that in Genesis 3:15. This son will obey all that was disobeyed. This son will succeed where Eve's husband failed, and will once and for all remove her earthly garments of shame, and even more so replace them with heavenly garments of righteousness. As such, Eve looks forward to a climactic event of rescue, of redemption, and reconciliation. So what happens next? Well, she conceives children with that hope in mind. What went through her mind as she bore Cain in her womb and bore that hope within her heart? You can read that Eve initially bears 2 sons, but neither is the son she was promised. In fact, one brother will kill the other. And what woman could endure this? A failed husband, her own failures, and now in the dawning hours of hope, the oldest son murders the youngest, and thereby her darkness continues and is prolonged. The enmity begins, 2 kingdoms, the first visible death, all in her lifetime, all from her womb. Can it be a misnomer to call Eve the mother of the broken-hearted? What could possibly comfort her and reunite her with her slain younger son? What could reverse the curse upon her family? What could turn those long nights of sadness into eternal days of gladness? And so, what of us, as Eve's sons and daughters, her progeny, what can truly comfort us when the dearest of things in this life evaporate and are taken? Those times when the sufferings of life seem to be more than we can endure. Those times when the world or our families, or perhaps even our spiritual families, hurt us with deep wounds, too deep for words. Admittedly, seldom do our trite cliches of good intentions even begin to provide comfort in such situations, despite our best intentions. Some wounds are simply too deep for earthly consolation. Yet we too must somehow, by faith, join with Eve and the choir of the broken-hearted as we sing our songs of praise, even through veils of tears. As with Eve, we too must learn to long for the coming Son, that Son who is better than either Adam or Abel, and learn to rest and seek assurance in his word of promise. Yes, Jesus has come and will yet again come, and presently, daily through his Holy Spirit, we can find that assurance and our eternal consolation. And yet, it is always useful to remember that even as Jesus did come into this world, he came into a world that was no bed of roses. Rather, he was met with poverty, misunderstanding, jealousy, and eventually a crown of thorns and a Roman cross. Yet we can be strengthened by the fact that we bear our own crosses united with him. And this is a gracious and mysterious bond that cannot be broken. Perhaps it is still a hard fact to learn, or one that doesn't readily jump to mind. And it's a reality that really, to find our truest comfort, we look to the same place Christ did, and that is heavenward. Jesus always looked heavenwards. Hebrews 2:2 relays, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Yes, that eternal kingdom reality. Now, by all this, my intention is by no means to commend some sort of fatalistic stoicism with a disinterest as to this life, or even to view life with a pessimistic outlook. Yet I think we have all seen times or know of examples where in this life some things do not just get better, and people do not always just get over it. Wounds heal, but scars remain. Yes, Eve would see future flowers and rainbows and even have other children, but could she ever never forget what she lost in that age, or indeed what she awaited in the age to come? The Apostle Paul speaks to us pastorally, for I consider that the sufferings of this present age are not worth comparing with the glory that is being revealed to us. Romans 8:18. Indeed, our cry, "How long, Lord?" will nonetheless be answered on that climactic day that God has appointed for the eternal consolation of his sons and his daughters. The Bible, from beginning to end, is fixed on the coming of our King and his kingdom. What could truly comfort Eve all those generations ago, and what can comfort us even in this day? Well, in a profound sense, the answer is eschatology. It is the consummate coming of Christ and his glorious kingdom. And yet, in the here and now, we can enjoy the foretaste of that kingdom which we gather to us now through his word and through his Spirit. Yes, indeed, eschatology affords us our eternal perspective. Can we all not find comfort therein? And may our prayers be that we can do so. And so we finish there for this morning. Praise be to God. God bless for now. Goodbye.